Presenting the Hall of Fame ring tonight, the Hall of Famer is Hall of Famer Brock Clubber.
It was an incredible class tonight. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this, and congratulations to each one of you. I mean, for many of us, motorcycle is about living the dream. And can you imagine the dreams that ran through a young Travis Pastrana's mind when he set his head on the pillow at night? In the beginning, he surely dreamt of winning motocross and supercross championships, which he achieved, but quickly that must have switched gears to plodding feats on motorcycles, previously unimaginable. Driven by a creative mind and unbridled enthusiasm, Travis quickly made believers of the biggest skeptics. His dreams evolved from 2 wheels to 4 wheels, to on the water, to up in the air, some with parachutes, and some without. And in his magnetic personality and showmanship, motorcycling has not experienced such a passionate lure since Malcolm Smith injected his infectious smile in the movie On Any Sunday more than 50 years ago. Travis has the gift of making whoever he is with feel like they are the center of his attention. You can't spend 30 seconds with Travis and not walk away with him. A true ambassador for motorcycling in every sense of the word. Travis, cats are known for having 9 lives, but I think you have 199 lives. It's my distinct honor to present the world's most well-known motorcyclist and newest inductee to the AMA Motorcycle Hall of Fame, Travis Pastrana.
To think that a kid from Annapolis, Maryland, just had the Golden Boy introduce him at a Hall of Fame, and not for riding, as Roger and you know, who've had some struggles on the results, but for having fun on a dirt bike. I got to travel around the world with all of my best friends and some of my biggest enemies, including you, Grant. Don't let that speech, that humble Christian speech, fool you. That man was. I can't say all those epithets here, but it's been an amazing ride. Starting out with this man right in front of me, Jeff Cernick. I tell you what, we had my mom and dad, they said, well, we had a boat, and we had one mortgage on the house, and my dad had a Harley. And by the time we made it to Orleans for the third or fourth time, we had 3 mortgages on the house. We had no boat. My dad had no Harley. And Jeff Cernick, every single year when we couldn't figure out how to go through Pat Alexander or get Suzuki bucks to pay for the gas, and all my uncles were chipping in to pay for gas money to get to Orleans to prove that I belong there, to prove that I could go out and race with the best in the world. Jeff Cernick made sure that I had a brand new Suzuki, a stock bike. He said, the stock bike is a class that everyone is on the same playing field. And we ended up winning that stock class 5 times at Orleans, and had the privilege of signing my pro contract with the man, Roger DeCoster. I know you guys are here for Ryan, but it's honest. But in the end, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I ever admitted this out loud, but racing was too hard. It's the most amazing sport in the world. And to kind of give you a little glimpse of that, came off the Horizon Award winner at Orleans, signed a pro contract with Roger, had the best bikes on the track, and I got to go on Jay Leno. I didn't tell the Costa and the Suzuki team that I was going there, and I crashed because it was raining in New York that night, and I dislocated and second-degree separation in my shoulder. I got on a plane that night, headed to Roger's house. Didn't really tell him, but he found out pretty quick that I couldn't move my arm up or do anything. So I got on my first factory bike, Lee McCullum, had it all. It was perfect. And I was like, I didn't know how to go through the whoops without falling off, so I went to the hills. And I didn't make it up the first big hill I hit, and that bike tumbled all the way back to the ground. And then I told Roger I couldn't ride practice because I had my shoulder wouldn't work. And I promised him we'd win that race, and it was a World Supercross in the Rose Bowl. And I went out there, and with no practice and not a lot of training, no time on the bike, my tongue was in the spokes. I was talking to Elvis, and I was breathing through my butthole. And luckily, I was in so tired that I didn't realize that my shoulder was popping in out of place. And I was able to win that race. And kind of made a fan of the Suzuki crew and proved that we belong there. Finally got back about 2 weeks before the AMA East Coast Supercross Championship that year when I was 16, and started riding again. Went to Jerry McGrath's house, flipped over, broke my thumb. Went to the first race with a cast on my hand. Yeah, no practice. Went in, qualified pretty bad, wasn't getting good starts, wasn't really known for good starts. And man, the whole crowd in Indianapolis was standing on their feet and cheering, so I did a heel clicker. And then I went over the finish line jump, and I went to do a Superman seat grab. Why, I have no idea. As it turns out, it's really hard to grab the fender with a cast on your wrist. And I missed it, Superman landed, blew off the bike, took out the camera guy that was after the first firm. And first person I saw was Jeff Stanton. And he was laughing so hard, he was even trying to give me a Honda. The second person I saw was Rocky DeCoster. And I'll never forget that face. Went down the start line, Lee McCall was shaking his head, changed out the clutch lever, and I got best start of the day. I started out second, made it about a lap, jumped what I thought was in the lead, and landed on Brock Stellers, took us both out, crashed off the track, ended up fourth. Anyway, I got my cast off for Daytona, and was able to win Daytona, was able to win again in St. Louis. Then went to outdoors, thought, man, this is gonna be awesome, I cannot wait for this. And I broke my wrist in the second moto. I got up, I finished third, we made the podium. I was a skateboard, it's a real small bone, it's now fused because of that, because we never stopped racing that year. I didn't think I really said much. But I got the cast off at Southwick, won Southwick, came back, was doing okay, had the weekend off, went to X Games. Broke my foot. Luckily, Alpine Star, actually, I was thinking, those Fox Boots at the time, but they worked pretty good. They kept the foot, a little bone in the foot as well, the talus bone, so, again, ankles now fused. But made it to the end, was able to win the last 7 consecutive races, and took the record from Brock Glover on the youngest person who went out for a championship. Sorry, we talked about this earlier. And then had the opportunity to race the Motocross of Nations, which growing up under the mentor of Gary Bailey, idolizing David, and just that whole era, everyone from Ricky Johnson to Bob Ham. I mean, from the 80s to the 90s, Motocross of Nations, if you were in the US, was what she wanted to do. And I had the chance to go over there and ride with the GOAT. Roger chose me for the team over Steve Lamson and Talon Boland, which he probably shouldn't have done, but he believed in me, and I always appreciated that. And I got to pass Stéphane Rampad on the last lap going down the hill of Saint-Angeli, France, and have 100,000 screaming French fans. I don't know what they said, but I don't think it was positive. Also, the moment I got to race Grant Langston for the second time. And we hit each other in every single corner. And, okay, I have to go into this. So Grant Langston comes up here in tears. I've never seen the man cry like, you've changed, sir. Where were you? Sorry. So Grant was, and I apologize, but he was the cockiest asshole I've ever heard. And maybe one of the greatest competitors I've ever had the privilege and the honor of riding with. I went over again, broken. Hilton Beasley, the FMF team, brought me over 12 years old to South Africa. They said, this kid, you'll never beat him. So he is the greatest thing since Greg Albertson coming out of South Africa. And I had a broken thumb, which doesn't really count. So I went over there with a broken thumb, and I wasn't going to race. My mom said, do not race. Go over there and just watch, which we all knew wasn't going to happen. I got my cast off, and I was in front of Grant Langston, and I re-broke it. But it was a doggone good battle. So go on the Motocross Nations, he wins the World Championship, I win the US Championship, and we go head to head, and it was maybe one of the greatest races of my life. I passed him every downhill, and he slammed me every corner at the bottom. Man, it was amazing. So great race to you. Then 2001 was also one hell of a season. They actually had talking to the AMA. There was a couple of AMA rules that got made because Grant and I would knock each other down before we got to the first turn. I actually got him one time, and we were just barely over the start line. I got his front brake. Anyway, so what I mean by this is, this was the greatest moment of my life. It's everything that I ever worked towards. I had the help and support of so many people in this room to get to a level that I've never even dreamed of. And at that point, I was the loneliest that I've ever been. I was the most beat up, the most broken. Holidays like Christmas didn't matter. You were at the test track, and I have so much respect for anyone that's made it. But I mean, you know, the Dungies, the Hawks, anyone that's got, Barry, I never even finished the GNCC race. She finished 2 in one day. It's unbelievable. But racing is hard. Racing takes a lot of people. It takes a huge sacrifice from everybody. And to get to be the best is amazing. And after a few more injuries, I walked into Roger's house with a broken navicular again, which again, Chris is now fused. And I said, I'm done, I'm retiring. And Roger says, you're 19. And I went from there. I started a circus because I love riding my motorcycle. I always looked up to Malcolm Smith, the guys that made me excited about getting on a dirt bike, to hang out with my friends, to guys like Guy Cooper, who got passed in the last lap of 3 separate Supercross races and still threw whips over the finish line. Stoked to be riding the dirt bike, who realized that anyone in my family, any one of my friends, and I have a friend that I swear, I don't even know if they give out plaques, he got 34th. And there's a 34th place plaque and a little, like a medal from Loretta Lynn's, and I swear he made it himself. It is still there in his house today. I mean, this man, he's got 3 children now, and that plaque is above everything. So thank you, Rita and all the Cruz family for giving my friend like Chris, an opportunity to show off that they were one of the best in the world. But long story long, started a circus, get to travel the world riding my motorcycle. And we had to find some skateboarders and some BMXers, and I found someone that supported me. It was actually the only person that, at the time, there was one woman in the world that could do the Gigantorama. And I married her. And I want to thank Lindsay over here for putting up with me for so long. And it's absolutely amazing.
Tell us about 199 too.
Yeah, we're gonna go get it.
199. Well, you kind of had to pick a 3-digit number. Carmichael had 167. Wyndham had 511. And the rider I looked up to the most when I was growing up, his name is Robbie Rayner. And he chose the number 593 because he turned pro the 5th month in 1993. And I went out to Las Vegas and for the World Mini. And they said, pick a 3-digit number. And I said, 1099. So that's not 3 digits. So 199 it was. But this bike was pretty amazing because this Suzuki from Gary Bailey, this is, if you look at most modern bikes now, they're all flat seats. But the Suzuki of the year had, you know, like you'd be sitting down here. My knees didn't work that much. So even at that time, I just came off ACL reconstruction right before the start and broke it back. I actually signed my Suzuki contract in a wheelchair, so that was interesting. But anyway, worked out, and you can see like it had all kinds of little special features, little add-ons, mostly Gary Bailey inspired. Everyone gave me a hard time because of the hand guards. But anyone that knows Pennsylvania area in the winter, there's a lot of rocks in Pennsylvania, and I had really sissy fingers, and it was usually cold in the mornings, even, you know, kind of not in the summer, but yeah, hands were always numb, and always just continued running hand guards for everything. So This bike, and also kind of a fun fact, this was the last year that a two-stroke was the fastest in the legs class. The next year, there was definitely the four-strokes were quicker. You know, depending on who was riding, because we had basically the Yamaha was the only one that did the four strokes the next year. And then it's absolutely amazing that Langston was able to win on a two-stroke in 2003, because half the field was on four strokes. And as amazing as that bike I'm sure was, he was giving up a lot of horsepower. So this was a cool year, because in 2000 it was literally the best bike on the track, and it had to be, because I was 185 pounds on a 125, so it wasn't the easiest. That's all I got to say about that.